Today we're here in Norway at the Norwegian Red Cross, and we are here with Azra, the president of youth of the Norwegian Red Cross. So before we get into the questions, could you tell us a little about yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name is Azra Numanovic. I am 27 years old. I was born and raised here in Norway, just a bit outside of Oslo actually. But my parents originally come from Bosnia-Herzegovina. So I am bicultural, as I like to say. I am educated as a political scientist with a specialty in peace and conflict studies. So you can kind of see where my interests come from. And I've been with the Norwegian Red Cross for approximately 8 years now. I started as a volunteer in my local youth group. And I have been in the national board for 5 years now. 3 as youth president, the 3 latest, and 2 as VP before that.
Thank you. So now that we know a bit more about you, I will go with the questions. What does volunteering mean to you personally?
That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever necessarily thought about it like that, but I think, well, I started volunteering quite accidentally actually. It was my mother-in-law at the time who just asked me to do her a favor. She said, "Oh, we need volunteers for youth camp for children. Can you please come and join?" And I didn't have anything to do that week. It was summer, so I said, "Yeah, of course." And then I stumbled into a group of youth who just had this crazy good chemistry, and they were friends, and it was just so lovely to be together, and they were quite different than many other of my friends, so I just kept going back, and I started being active in my local youth group with them because I found some camaraderie and like interesting points of views. And then it just escalated, basically how it does in the Red Cross, because you become a family in the end. So volunteering for me, it means a lot because when you maybe don't have anything else to do, or if you just want to try something new, it's a great place to go, and it sticks with you. It gives you a new perspective. It actually has learned me a lot about leadership, about accountability, about being there for other people. And yeah, so it's been a huge part of my life. I mean, I haven't been in my 20s without volunteering.
Yeah. So what has volunteering taught you about yourself? What did you see in yourself when you started volunteering?
It has taught me a lot. I think one of the things it has really taught me is also to know my own boundaries, because when you work somewhere, you have working hours, right?
Yeah.
You work from that time to that time, or you work 8 hours a day. In volunteering, you do something you're passionate about, and there can be no limits. So you could work for 12 hours, but then you exhaust yourself. And I really love what I do in the Norwegian Red Cross. So it has been quite difficult actually to manage myself. So I've learned a lot about setting boundaries, because that's healthy. I will not do a good job if I'm exhausted. So that's one perspective. The other perspective is that it has also taught me so much about how to meet people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, in difficult positions of life. And that's not something you necessarily learn other places, but the Red Cross is an organization that's there for everyone in our communities. So you meet a lot of different people, and you learn to also meet people with a humane view and with kindness and with warmth, and just being there for each other. And I think that's invaluable.
Yeah.
So that's 2 things. I could probably go on for a longer time.
Thank you. Since you now work directly with young people, what do you think is the most valuable thing young people can gain from volunteering, apart from helping others?
That's a great question, because I think, as I said previously, that volunteering is a place where you actually, as a young person, can come in and you can learn a lot, you can get responsibility, you can fail, but you can also succeed. And all of these things are happening in a safe environment, where you're surrounded by people who want the same things as you, where you're pushing in the same direction, where you maybe have safe adults around you as well. So it's just volunteering fosters a great place for experiencing new things, taking on accountability or responsibility that you never maybe would have gotten a chance to just in a regular job because you're too young or too experienced. So I think young people get great tools, and not just for work life. That's an important thing. You don't only gather tools through volunteering that you can use in a work life or in a professional connection, but you actually gain a lot as a person, and you learn a lot about yourself and your limits, as I said, or your interests, or how you meet people, or how you react, or when you're pushed. So you can take kind of a lot of lessons with you from volunteering into every aspect of your life. I've learned also a lot about my relationships with, like, my personal relationships with friends, with family, with my boyfriend and stuff. So yeah, I would say a lot of tools that you can use.
Yeah. So let's get back to your journey a little. What was your journey from being a volunteer to becoming the president of youth?
Well, my journey was, so as I said, I started locally with a youth camp, which was for children who didn't have the ability to go on vacation with their parents. They didn't have the economical possibility to do that. And I found just a great friendship in all those people who were also volunteering there. So I kept going back, and they had like a local youth group which organized activities or had campaigns for other local youth. And that could be like anything from just meeting at a cafe and having a chat, or going to the movies, or doing stuff like that. And it's important actually for me to say that I personally wasn't necessarily, at that point, I wasn't necessarily interested in the aspect of, I want to organize activities for others. I was more interested in just like, I want to be a part of something. I want to be in a cool group of people who does good things, you know? But then you get attached, and then you learn more about the Red Cross. And what actually happened is that after maybe a few months, the girl who was leading this, she was going away for studies. And she asked me, she was like, could you take over as local youth leader? And I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what that was or what I was supposed to do. So I just said, yeah, of course. And then I was there for a year in total. But then I also was going away for studying, and I moved to a place called Bergen. It's on the west coast of Norway. And obviously you cannot lead a local youth group when you're living 8 hours away. So I had to withdraw, which I was very sad about. I also learned a lot about being in a board, because I was in the local Red Cross board in Asker, is where I'm from. So I moved to Bergen, and I wanted to get engaged in the Red Cross Youth there, but I never got that far because I was so wrapped up in being a student. It was a new city. I was like trying to understand what I was going to study, how this all was working. So I never actually reached out. And then 1.5 years actually goes by, and I was following what the Red Cross was doing, blah, blah, blah. And 1.5 years goes by, and I'm getting a call. I got called by the leader of the election committee. I had never heard of an election committee in my life. And he asked me, would you be interested? Because I studied comparative politics at the time. And he said, would you be interested in being the Norwegian Red Cross's youth vice president? And I was like, oh, that sounds really fancy. What is that? You know? And I was like, okay, it's politics, you know. That could be something useful also, like for my career or for advancing things. And I was like, sure. Can we have a chat what it's about? And he said, yeah, for sure. One of the other like the girl who was leading our local youth group before I took over, she was now in the local national election committee. So she had like tipped him about me and been like, oh, maybe you should talk to her. So it was quite random because, you know, it's been a long time. So I had a chat with him, and I was actually, it sounded so cool, and I was like, I loved being in the Red Cross, like in Asker, so maybe I could go back. And I went to our General Assembly. There was so many youth there. It was still, it was in 2023. So, no, that's a lie. It was not in it was in 2021. So it was actually still Corona, but it wasn't as strict in Norway. So I came there, and I was blown away. I was like, what have I said yes to? I was so nervous because I didn't actually understand what I was getting myself into. But then I said yes, I was elected, and it was all great, and then the ball just started rolling. So the girl that was the youth president before me, she's actually a very dear friend of mine now. She was my leader for 2 years. I learned so much from her, and she drew me into this universe. And when she pulled away from her position because she was elected as vice president of the Norwegian Red Cross, so she had to step away. And she told me, she was like, you need to pursue this position, like you have to do it. I think you're the right person, and I think the organization needs you. After a lot of thinking, I said, okay, I'll try. And then 3 years ago, almost now, I was elected as youth president, and it has been a roller coaster.
Right, that's the coolest story I've ever heard.
No, it's just very random, you know?
Yeah,
it's just,
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. And for the one last question, slightly more personal question for you. If you could go back to the moment when you first become a volunteer and talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
Oh, I would tell her just enjoy the ride. Have an open mind and just be present. Yeah, be present maybe, because sometimes you go through both life and also like all of these volunteering and everything else you do, and you're not always present at the moment, and this is just a great organization and a great community to be a part of. So I would say that maybe.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your story and your experience with us. I think your journey is a really great example for how one small decision, taking that first step into volunteering, can lead you somewhere you never expected.
That's a great conclusion. Thank you. It was lovely joining you guys.
Thank you.